Greetings and salutations, everybody. Maybe if I had my microphone turned on, you'd be able to hear me a little bit better. Welcome to For Your Consideration, the daily podcast. This is FYCDaily, the daily podcast of For Your Consideration. Thanks for joining us. My name is John Campea. I will be your host. And let's get this out of the way. Joining me as always, well, not as always, because yesterday I forgot to get him hooked up. But joining me on the other end of the line is my co-host for today, Mr. Mappinar. Matt, how you doing?
I'm good, buddy. How's it going?
It's going pretty good. Sorry about the mix-up yesterday. I ended up having to do this all by my lonesome.
Yeah.
It was pretty bad. Hey, listen, guys, before we do anything else, I'm going to get some house cleaning out of the way. If you are somebody who likes to watch a show, but you can't always be here at 10 a.m., obviously I put up the YouTube video for this on my Facebook page and on the FYC Facebook page. And by the way, if you do not follow it, make sure you go to our Facebook page. That's on facebook.com/FYC podcast. So facebook.com/FYC podcast. I've got the link there at the bottom. And just go in there, make sure you like the page. That will keep you up to date on your Facebook when we've got new announcements and new shows starting and things like that. So make sure you like us there. But some people have been asking me, how do we subscribe to the show audio only on your Facebook? Well, here's how you do it. If you want to subscribe to the audio only, like if you're somebody like me who you love to listen to podcasts when you're either in the shower, you're in your car. I don't even listen to the radio anymore. I just listen to podcasts when I'm in the car. What you can do is, for whatever reason, you can't find For Your Consideration on iTunes except for the video version of the podcast. And if you want the video version of the podcast, just go into iTunes podcast store, search for Your Consideration, and you'll find us there, no problem. But if you want the audio only version, and you want to subscribe to the audio only version, then use this link, the www.fyc.blip.tv/RSS/MP3. You see the link right there. What you do is you go into iTunes, and you have to manually insert the subscription. It's really easy. Just look up instructions for manually adding podcasts in iTunes. Basically, just go into podcasts, go into advanced, and hit manually subscribe. And you just paste in that URL that I have there for audio only. Or that link works with any other popular podcasting service. Like personally, I use Google Listen as my podcast streamer. So you can use Google, you can use any of the popular podcasting streamers out there. Just use that link for your audio only, or subscribe to the YouTube feed. And what you do is you go to my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/movieblogtv. And that's my YouTube channel. And just hit subscribe and subscribe to the feed there. Hey guys, listen, thank you so much for joining us. We're awfully glad that you're here. We got a whole bunch of things we want to talk about. But Matt, I wanted to bring this up because I'm kind of excited about this. I don't know why I haven't had this before. For those of you who know me at all, I really love tech stuff too. And I don't know why I didn't think of this before. I love to listen to music in the bedroom. Now, not for romance time. That's not what I'm talking about. But I love to listen to music in the bedroom, and my wife does too. So, like, my wife is like, we've got a big TV in our bedroom. We've got
Match made in heaven.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
For many reasons.
Music lovers.
And we've got, we've got our ensuite bathroom in our master bedroom too. So we spend a lot of time in the bedroom. And my wife loves to listen to music. And what she often does is she just takes her phone, turns on Pandora or her music, and sits it on the counter in the bathroom and just turns up her phone as much as she can. It sounds terrible, whatever. Or sometimes she's in bed, she's got her laptop, and that doesn't sound so great. Laptop speakers, no matter how good, are never all that good. So what I did was I put some computer speakers in the bathroom, thinking this will solve the problem. So I put some computer speakers right in the bathroom so she could plug her phone in. But sometimes she doesn't want to be bothered to plug it in, or she's using her laptop instead of her iPhone, and she doesn't have the iPhone anymore. Now she has an Android phone because we've both grown up. And she moves a little bit of a slant to you iPhone users. So she doesn't want to move her laptop into the bathroom and plug it in. So I just found this new little device. There are these Bluetooth speakers that you can get. So, you just turn on Bluetooth on your laptop or on your phone, and it'll just wirelessly connect to the speakers, and the speakers will play. But the thing is, a decent set of Bluetooth speakers cost around, at least $100. And I'm thinking, man, I don't really want to spend that much money just for some sound in the bathroom. Logitech, and I wish I had an image here for you guys, but Logitech came up with this little box kind of the size of an Apple TV, just a little box. And what it is, it's a Bluetooth audio receiver. And it only costs like $35. And what you do is it connects to your phone or to your laptop or whatever using Bluetooth. Just turn on Bluetooth. And instead of having its own speakers, what you do is you plug existing speakers into it. So I already have these really nice computer speakers, kind of high end, in my bathroom that my wife doesn't bother plugging in. So what I do is you can take this little Logitech box, plug the speakers into the Logitech box, and now you've got a $35 beautiful sounding Bluetooth speaker system. So now I can be laying in bed and pop on, some music and just hit the Bluetooth button, and instead of my laptop speakers, now I'm hearing my full beautiful speakers that I've got in my bathroom. It's a great cheap solution. $35.
Glorious.
Glorious. Find it on Amazon. Just look up Logitech Bluetooth speakers and you'll find this little box thing. It's awesome. But anyway, none of you.
Fast.
What's
Real
that?
fast, John.
Yeah.
I know that not that this isn't tech or movie related. You're spreading Eli Manning hate yesterday.
Yes, I hate Eli Manning. I hate Eli Manning. Although I will say this, I did this season as a whole, I gained some respect for him. I really did. But all this love for Eli Manning is total bull. I mean, all these commentators are like, all he does is win games. No, he didn't. They were 9-7. They were 9-7.
So
he lost a lot of games.
I didn't mean to get you. I didn't mean to get the hot tech talk, then the hot sports talk.
Oh man, you're just
sorry about that, buddy.
Totally get me going. And let me just complain about this one thing more too.
Up.
Everybody talk about Eli pulled it out in the Super Bowl. Eli didn't do crap.
He went 30 for 40.
He did crap. They barely scored over 20 points on one of the worst defenses in the league. And if Wes Welker catches that pass with 4 minutes left to go, none of this is an issue. And if Manningham doesn't make that ridiculous circus catch on the sideline, that he had no business catching that ball. Manningham won that game.
Throw, though.
Well, it wasn't a good throw. It wasn't a good throw. It did not. 90% of receivers in the NFL would not have been able to catch that ball because that was not that wasn't a catchable ball. But Manning, just like the last Super Bowl that Manning won, he threw an uncatchable ball, just a Hail Mary. I'm just going to lob it up there, and it took some receiver to make some circus catch off the top of his head, and suddenly everybody's giving the credit to Manning. It's like, give me a break. He's pretty good. He is. I've gained respect for Eli Manning this year. I really have. He is pretty good. I would put him in the top 8 quarterbacks in the league. But this whole, he gets way too much credit for what the team accomplished. He gets way too much credit for what the team accomplished. And you know what? It wasn't even Manningham that won that game. It was the New York Giant defense won that game. But anyway, this is not sports talk. I'm sorry.
No, it's not.
What you'll find out, guys, is I'm very passionate about a few things. Obviously, movies is a huge passion of mine. Mixed martial arts, tech, and sports. And I could, at any given moment, I could go off on a random thing at any given time. So, anyway, there we go. Apparently, Arias doesn't like the fact that I'm dumping on the Giants because he says you should really just stick to movies. You know what? That is a common refrain I hear from whiny people a lot. Whenever I say something that they don't like, they'll go, "You should just stick to movies." Well, yeah, okay.
I know if they make a pair of Bluetooth speakers that project MMA fights and hate on the Mannings, you'll be first in line.
Oh yeah, and hey, I don't hate on the Mannings. Okay,
the younger Manning.
All respect
such a bully.
to Peyton Manning. All respect to Peyton Manning. Hey, listen, we got some movie stuff.
Okay.
To talk about here, and I'm only giving Arias a hard time there. Everybody's entitled to all their opinions. It's totally cool. But we got some movie stuff to talk about. And I think the first thing we should probably talk about here is yesterday Sony put out a brand new trailer for The Amazing Spider-Man. I keep wanting to just call it Spider-Man, but it's called The Amazing Spider-Man.
I'm just gonna call it Spider-Man.
And I'm gonna play this for a second.
I'll know what you're talking about.
Yes, hold on here. I'm just gonna play this for a second.
How did you get out there?
Fire escape.
It's 20 stories.
Man, just let me say I love Andrew Garfield. I think he's such a great choice
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
to play this.
Not much to tell, really.
Peter lives with his aunt and uncle.
I'm hoping you guys have seen this already before.
He's trying to do something
Yeah.
maybe the police can't, man.
And I love Dennis Leary in this role. I really do. I thought that was great casting.
Dressed like a car thief.
I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit.
He seems like a punk ass cop. Perfect, right?
Yeah.
Be the old guy who doesn't understand.
Rumor of a new species in New York. It can be
Okay.
explosive.
I'm just kind of zipping through this a little bit. I'm gonna cut us back here. One of the things that I don't like about this trailer, one of the things that I don't like here. Actually, you know what? Let me talk about a couple of things I don't like about this trailer. Number one. And by the way, guys, please start putting your thoughts on the new Spider-Man trailer in the comments section, and we'll read some of them. Matt will keep a half an eye on that, and we'll read some of them off. Let me talk about some things I don't like about the new Spider-Man trailer. All right. Number one.
Too awesome.
No.
No. Okay. I'm just kidding.
First of all, one of the things I started to get bored with the Sam Raimi Spider-Man films was the repetitive formula. There were several things in the Sam Raimi Spider-Man films that just became really repetitive and kind of became his formula. Like in every one of the Spider-Man movies, the villain captures Mary Jane, kidnaps her, dangles her from a high place as a trap to lure in Spider-Man. It happens in all three of Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies. Mary Jane gets kidnapped. She gets dangled from a high place as a trap to lure in Spider-Man. Every single movie. And that's just an example of some formulas that went on. One of the other formulas in the Spider-Man movies that I started to get bored of was every single one of his super villains. And I don't care if this is what they do in the comics. I don't care. You've got to adapt stuff for the big screen, okay? In every single one, you get a scientist who is a good man. And in the midst of doing scientific experiments, something bad happens and he turns into a supervillain. It's the same thing every single time. And we're looking at this trailer.
Yeah,
and
it didn't really work with the octopus guy. Like, nobody really could understand why he's so mad at everybody else, huh?
Well,
Like,
I mean, his
he
wife
shits the
died.
bed and then he wants to kill everybody.
Well, I will say this. Spider-Man 2 is my favorite of the Spider-Man movies, but it's still the formula. And now we're looking at this trailer, and it's the exact same formula. A good man who's a scientist, while doing a scientific experiment and discovery, something goes wrong, and now he's a big bad supervillain. It's the same freaking thing over and over and over again. And I kind of get tired of that. One of the other things I don't like about this trailer, is the fact that it looks like they're just copying some of the other superhero films and the Batman movies. This vigilante is breaking the law, and we're going to bring him in. I'm putting out an arrest warrant for the masked vigilante known as Batman. Oh, I'm sorry, I mean Spider-Man. And so I'm not really big on that. With that being said, that I don't like that it's the same formula of scientists doing something and it becomes bad. And the old Batman thing of, oh, we're going to bring in this masked vigilante.
Maybe you just don't like comic book people.
I love comic book people.
You're like, Batman, Spider-Man's.
What
okay,
are you talking about? What? Because I
said
said Batman was an 8 out of 10 instead of a 10 out of 10, I'm bashing on comic book movies? You son of a bitch.
Yeah, exactly. I'm putting those pieces together.
So,
I need your help for that.
One of the... I will say, with all that being said about the things I didn't like about the Spider-Man trailer, I will say this. I love the trailer. I do. Yeah. I love the trailer. Those are the things I don't like about it, but I love this trailer. And the thing that I loved about it the most was the correction to the thing I liked about the first trailer the least. The first trailer just made it feel like another origin story. We've been there. We've done that.
Yeah.
This trailer felt different. It felt different. This made it feel unique. Now, some, I think, comic book purists, like yourself, apparently, Matt, are not going to like the fact that Peter in this one seems a little bit darker. He's a little more serious. This definitely has a more serious tone than the other Spider-Man films. My response to that criticism is that, look, we've all been saying that this new set of Spider-Man films has to do something to distinguish itself and make itself unique apart from the other Spider-Man movies. And I think one of the key ways you can do that is to darken the tone a bit. Look, I'm not one of these guys who thinks comic book movies have to be dark. Not at all. I love the levity of the first set.
Better that way, but yeah,
Yeah,
that's all right.
I love the levity of the first set of Spider-Man movies. I love that they kept Peter Parker this very wisecracking, a little bit immature. I love that. But with that being said, if you're going to do new set of Spider-Man films, you got to do some things to distinguish it from the other set.
Yeah, I was going to say the only thing you just watch and just compare, because it happened so short time ago, where you're just like comparing it to the last movie. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Like if they did this remake 10 years from now, I think you could keep it more light and more like the other Spider-Man films. But I think you just nailed it. I think the fact that it's so close to the other Spider-Man films, you have to really make an effort to distinguish it from the other ones. And I think making it a darker tone will do that. I think some people might be upset about the fact that they're making Peter's parents, a mystery about their disappearance and all that kind of stuff. I've read some people complaining that that's not sticking really true to the comic, but once again, you got to throw some little things up. As long as you stay true to the essence of the characters, I'm all for throwing things in there and change them up. I love the fact that they're not using Mary Jane. I really like the fact that they're using a Gwen Stacy character. And I'll say it again.
Kirsten Dunst, right?
Oh my gosh, that is some of the Kristen Dunst in Spider-Man, and I've got respect for Kristen Dunst as an actress, but her casting in Spider-Man is some of the worst blockbuster casting ever. She just, it wasn't, and it's not her fault. They shouldn't have cast her. She is who she is. There are roles like any actor that you fit in and roles that you don't fit in, no matter how good or bad you are. And that was the wrong role for her. But I'll say this. Andrew, I've said from the beginning, Andrew Garfield deserved an Oscar last year for The Social Network. He should have been best. He didn't even get nominated. Forget nomination. He should have won Best Supporting Actor, mostly because Christian Bale had no business being nominated for Best Supporting Actor when clearly he should have been in the Best Leading Actor category. They just put him in there to guarantee he would win. But Andrew Garfield should have been nominated, should have won. I love this guy. I thought Andrew Garfield was the heart and soul of The Social Network. I thought he acted circles around everybody else in that movie. And so I'm thrilled to see him in this, playing Spider-Man, playing Peter Parker. And so overall, I'll tell you what, I wasn't that impressed with the first Spider-Man trailer. Not at all. This one impresses me. Anyway, your overall thoughts of this trailer, Matt?
Yeah, no, I think the same. Like, the first trailer, I was like, oh man, this is gonna be a bummer. Like another hour and a half of like him getting picked on at school, and then he gets buff and can push people around. But like, it shows in the new trailer too. He's like flipping off cars and actually fighting people now. It doesn't look like he's on strings and people are just yanking him up and he's flying. You know what I mean? So it looks a lot. It looks a lot better. I think it looks a lot better than the first. Well, my initial reaction of the first trailer, anyways.
Yeah, such an improvement over the first trailer, and I am now. I was looking forward
the
to
lizards
Spider-Man.
Take it or leave it, though, huh? I mean, he's kind of like.
I'll be honest. I like the look of the lizard. I know there are people in the chat board right now who are saying they don't like the look of the lizard. They didn't like the way he looked. And I've been reading online a lot of people saying the same thing, that they do not like the look of the lizard. I'll be honest with you. Put me in the minority. I like the look. Because
he just looks kind of like a big, giant green dude.
Well, here's the thing. When you're doing a character like Lizard, kind of the same thing. Think about if they were doing Mysterio. There is a lot of potential there, I think, for that character to look insanely cheesy. Because if you just do him the way he's drawn in the comic book, that won't work. It just won't work. Yeah. Kind of the same way that you can't do Wolverine in tight yellow spandex the way you do in the comic. It looks great in the comic, but it wouldn't work on screen. I don't think you can do Lizard the way he's traditionally been done in the comic.
Now at OfficeDepot.com,
and
here's a product that'll go along.
I don't think, as I mute out the ad there for a second, I don't think what you can do is you, like I just said, you've got a real chance, a real potential there to look extremely cheesy, and I think you got to take strides to make sure that doesn't happen. And I'll be honest with you, I looked at him, I thought it looked pretty badass. I thought Lizard looked pretty badass, so that's one of the things that I am excited to see, and I really think works. So, you know what? If the job of a trailer is to make you excited for a movie, this is a big success on me.
Yeah.
Because despite the fact that I hate the fact they're going back to the formula with the scientist doing a scientific experiment, something goes wrong and he becomes bad, just like they do in every other Spider-Man film. The fact that he's Batman now, where we're going to bring in this masked vigilante, blah, blah, don't like that.
Well,
Go ahead.
No, I'm just, and then like, well, then now it's in the last, I think it was the last one where they teased like you met the scientist that's supposed to be the lizard in the other one, and you're like, oh, they just go like, look, this guy's gonna be the lizard, and then nothing ever happens, and he's just like a nerdy guy, and so yeah, it's cool to see.
Well, yeah, they were setting him up. I forget the actor's name off the top of my head,
Yeah, I
but
don't either.
they were setting him up to be the lizard in the next film. They were going to do that. Darren J. Seeley brings up a great point in the chat board, and I agree with him entirely. He says the next film they should have Craven, no freaking scientist. Completely agree. Completely agree. The next one they should have Craven, or at least somebody who's not a scientist. Maybe Blade. Maybe I don't know. Maybe do a Blade. But I don't want to get ahead of
I
ourselves.
think Blade's in jail, buddy.
I don't want to get.
Isn't he for like tax evasion or
Tax
something?
evasion. I don't want to get ahead of. Pardon me. I don't want to get ahead of myself here. And looking at Amazing Spider-Man 2. But I will say my anticipation level for the Amazing Spider-Man has just jumped up a whole bunch. So guys, keep leaving your comments and whatever in the chat board about what you think about the Amazing Spider-Man trailer. Matt will take note of some of those, and we'll get to those a little bit later. Get a couple more topics I want to talk about before we get to the questions on the board. This weekend, I talked about this a little bit yesterday, but this weekend, The Woman in Black, which is just a terrible movie, just an awful, awful movie.
bad. It looks generic to me, so I can't tell. You like how you don't watch The Gray because you don't want to like be scared on a plane. Like I wouldn't watch that because I gotta live life. I got like dark rooms and stuff, so I can't.
Because I gotta live life.
You know what I mean? I gotta live my life every day with dark rooms and corners. So I'm out. I'm out.
Woman in Black. Look, it's just such a terrible movie. I talked about it yesterday, and you can find my review for it online. Just an awful movie. But one of the good things about it was that Daniel Radcliffe, to me, knocked it out of the park as far as he broke himself out of the Harry Potter image. I'm watching this movie, and my fear was this whole movie, I'm just going to see Harry Potter. You see Harry Potter for the first 15 or 20 seconds, and then you just see Daniel Radcliffe playing his character. Kudos to him.
Yeah.
But... So that's good news for him and his potential future as an actor. But the bad news is that even though it beat the studio's expectations, the film came in second place. It got beat by Chronicle. Thank goodness, because Chronicle is an awesome movie in case you haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
It only made like $20 million.
Now at OfficeDepot.com. Here's a product.
The film made $20 million at the box office. And that's not great. Considering, even though it's kind of a little bit more, I mean, it's a low-budget horror film, so that's fine and everything. But you got Harry Potter.
Yeah.
I, honestly, about a month or two ago, I thought the trailers were good. I think the trailers to The Woman in Black have been good because I expected it to be a pretty good movie. You've got Harry Potter, Daniel Radcliffe. You're figuring you're going to draw a good chunk of the Harry Potter fan crowd, which is huge. Good trailers. Harry Potter.
Good chunk. It's mostly younger people, right?
Dude, they were younger people 10 years ago when the franchise
but I'm
started.
saying, like, the majority of the people that go to the movies, like, you're not going to get all those people.
Well, I mean, why not? Harry Potter. I mean, when I went to see Harry Potter, like the last film, and you go to the midnight screenings and all this kind of stuff, and the place, all the theaters are completely packed, and it ain't packed with 10-year-olds, man. I mean, it's packed with adults and you know college students and things like that. People who might have started watching Harry Potter when they were 12, but now they're like 21. So I expected, with good trailers and coming off the heels of the Harry Potter success, I was expecting somewhere in the neighborhood of maybe $40 million opening weekend. But it only makes $21 million, and that's with good trailers that made the movie look good. So here's a question for you guys on the board and for you, Matt. Does The Woman in Black bode well for the future of Daniel Radcliffe, considering he does a good job in this film and he's able to break himself out of the Harry Potter image and really own his character? Or does The Woman in Black bode badly for Daniel Radcliffe, considering it's looking to me like maybe the Harry Potter fans aren't interested in seeing Daniel Radcliffe anymore if he ain't Harry Potter? What do you think?
Well, he's done all right breaking out of the Harry Potter thing. He showed his schwanz on stage, and he's been in a few other plays. Like, he does well on Broadway and stuff. But I don't think people aren't going to flock to see him like the same way like Elijah Wood movies aren't going to kill it at the box office with all the Lord of the Rings fans. You know, like he might have been a little bit bigger than. I don't think they went to see Harry Potter for him exclusively, right? They're kind of a fan. It didn't matter who was in there. They could have replaced him every movie, and they still would have made money.
Yeah,
People would have gone to see the movies.
yeah. I mean, I just don't know. I mean, it really it's discouraging
right.
to me. I mean, I don't think anybody should go see The Woman in Black because it is such a bad film. But it's
Well, this is probably just what he is though. Like as that's where he'll be at. He'll probably get a bunch of movies like this and then do some low budget stuff and mostly stage, right?
maybe I think he
It's never going to
deserves.
be another Harry Potter.
I think she deserves a big movie career. Like the way I compared it was, look, coming out of Harry Potter, Daniel Radcliffe's career could go one of two ways. Either the Mark Hamill Star Wars way, where, you know, Mark Hamill's in this huge successful franchise, everybody knows him, but his career goes nowhere after that.
Mm-hmm.
Or it could go the Harrison Ford Star Wars way, where Harrison Ford goes on to not just do Indiana Jones, but 20 other huge, high-profile, quality, excellent films and have one of the most decorated and illustrious careers in Hollywood history.
Mm-hmm.
He could go one of two ways. And I'm telling you, looking at $20 million opening for The Woman in Black, a movie with good trailers, and nobody went to go see him, I'm nervous now. And I think he deserves to have success. I think he did a good job, but I'm nervous now that people aren't interested in seeing him in anything other than Harry Potter, and I think that's unfortunate. But
I think he'll be all right.
you think he'll be all right? Okay, let's go on to
Yeah,
this.
why not?
Let's go on to this next topic here. We'll just go over this quickly. News came out yesterday that Robert Rodriguez will start shooting his new film in April, the new Machete movie, Machete, as they say in the film.
Yeah.
Machete, of course, is a character that came from the fake trailers in Grindhouse, with one of the best fake trailers in history. Maybe, no, I'll say it. The Machete trailer in Grindhouse is the single greatest fake trailer in film history. It's awesome. Close second would be, what's it called? The Devil's Alley from Tropic Thunder. The fake trailer in front of Tropic Thunder for Devil's Alley
one was that?
with Robert Downey Jr. and Tobey Maguire as gay monks.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that trailer's so funny. But I think the best fake trailer of all time is the Machete one. They went ahead and made it into a movie, which I was so excited about. I went to go see Machete. The first 5 minutes are everything I was hoping that movie would be.
Yeah, because that's about as much as they got. Like the trailer, you're just like, oh shit, there's like an hour and a half left of this.
Yeah, and then
you know what I mean?
Yeah, and then Machete became one of the worst films I saw that year after the first 5
They're
minutes.
about to fire up another one.
It was awful, and now they're doing another one, and I'm gonna tell you,
Yeah.
I've got zero excitement for it. Zero.
Yeah, that's probably about right. It's like the joke is like, oh, this isn't popular anymore. Like it just goes a little bit too further before nobody cares. Like, yeah, it's funny and it's a funny thing. Like, wouldn't that be awesome? And then they made it and they're like, yeah, that was pretty good. And then that's that, right?
Yeah.
That should be it.
Yeah, I mean, after the first 5 minutes of the first Machete movie, you found out really quickly it's a great gimmick that is great for fake trailers and for a few minutes, but you can't make an elongated movie out of it. Or maybe they can. Look, one of the biggest problems with the first Machete movie was that Robert Rodriguez decided to make it a political movie about immigration. And he just preached. All he did was preach the entire movie. And look, I don't care if it's something I agree with or something that I disagree with. I don't like movies that preach at me. You know, I just don't. And and basically that even if it's a thing that 90% of the time preachy movies are preaching topics that I agree with, but I still don't like it. Especially movies that make you feel like you are an absolute moron if you don't agree with me on this. And I'm going to show you how evil you are if you don't agree with me on this issue that is split. And Robert Rodriguez decided that he was going to make a big political movie instead of just a fun, ridiculous, ultra-violent, great one-liners, schlock film, which is what Machete should have been. And instead, it just, I don't know. I just failed. I just didn't enjoy that movie at all after the first 5 or 10 minutes.
I didn't even see it. It was like for me too. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna see this. I can't wait. And the trailer comes out, and then it's like it's actually out, and I'm just like, oh, I'll just watch 30 Rock reruns or something like that. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just like, it's like a sketch with no ending. That Machete.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Anyway, not looking forward to it at all. I mean, and here's fingers crossed.
Yeah.
I'm hoping Robert Rodriguez decides, you know what, I screwed up with the first one trying to make a big political statement. What I'll do is just make Machete what it should be, make it fun, make it ridiculous, make it stupid and over the top. If he does that, gonna love it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give the movie a shot. I just hope
Tone
that's
down
the way
the
it goes.
language and cast Chuck Norris. Yeah.
Tone down,
That's
take it all the swearing so Chuck Norris can be in it.
Yeah. Then you got gold, comedy gold. Yeah.
All right, let's move on to this last topic here, and then we're going to throw it open to the chat boards. I'm torn about this. I'm really torn about this.
What's that?
Star Wars: The Phantom Menace in 3D opens in theaters this weekend. And this Star Wars is always such a contentious issue for me now because I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not using hyperbole. I am the biggest Star Wars fan in the world.
Okay.
My earliest childhood memory, this is well documented. I've told the story a million times. And this is true. My earliest childhood memory is of my mother taking me to see Star Wars. That is my earliest childhood memory, is my mom taking me to see Star Wars. My next earliest childhood memory is being in my backyard as a kid and my mom telling me there was going to be another Star Wars movie. And then I think my next memory after that...
The movie news runs in the family.
Yeah, I think the next... after that, my next memory was my Aunt Pina taking me to see Empire Strikes Back. And I remember we were late. We were just like 2 minutes late. So you know how Empire Strikes Back starts with the Star Destroyer coming over, much like it does in Star Wars, and then the probe droids pop out of the bottom and shoot off into different parts of the galaxy. We walked in the theater just as the probe droids were dropping out. That's how clear my memory is about all things Star Wars. My first pet's name, I had a cat, and we named the cat Luke Skywalker. I had the Star Wars bed sheets. I had the Star Wars everything. Right now, any women watching this show right now are getting so wet hearing me talk about this. This is such a turn on to women everywhere. But I cannot explain how bad the Phantom Menace is. And you know, I drove, this is not a lie, when the Phantom Menace was coming up. When the Phantom Menace was coming out, I was living at the time in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada. That's about maybe 1,500 miles from my home area, the Toronto area. Toronto, Canada. When the Phantom...
No Jedis up there.
No Jedis up there. When the Phantom Menace was coming out, I'm such a psychotic fan. I drove 1,500 miles back to the Toronto area so I could watch the Phantom Menace at my favorite movie theater that had the best picture and sound that I knew of in Canada at the time.
Wow.
I drove 1,500 miles, and I'm such a Star Wars fan that even though I wasn't going to be watching The Phantom Menace in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada, which, by the way, it gets down to around minus 40 in the winters, I still went and got in line and camped out in line with friends of mine in Saskatoon just so I could have the experience and say I camped out in line for tickets, even though I wasn't getting any tickets because I was getting tickets in Toronto.
I wish I loved anything that much. Like, I don't like anything that much. There's like 1,000 miles for $1 million. I'd be like, oh, 1,000.
Yeah.
1,000 miles?
Yes. It was a 2.5 day drive.
Jesus.
In a minivan with a couple other people. So I am a huge Star Wars fan. I mean, you can't see it right now, but mounted behind my head back here are the original trilogy posters. Mounted up there. But okay, anyway, long and the short of it is I'm very disappointed, obviously, with the prequels. I didn't hate Revenge of the Sith, but it's still Star Wars. It should have been 50 times better. There are elements of the Star Wars prequels that I like. The visual effects were the best in history at the time, which blew my mind. The Darth Maul lightsaber fight was obviously awesome. The pod race I thought was insanely good, especially the sound. But overall, just hugely disappointed. And I kind of, pronounced about a year ago, Star Wars, anything after the original trilogy, Star Wars is dead to me. It's completely dead to me. Although I do play Star Wars: The Old Republic every day. Besides that, so I'm sitting around last night with our mutual friend Ryan, and we're watching TV, and this commercial comes on for the Phantom Menace in 3D opening this weekend. And Ryan turns to me and goes, "So we going?" I'm like, "Damn, I don't know. Because it's."
And you just told him, "Yes, we're gonna go. We may not enjoy this, but we're gonna go."
You know what? I think you just described seeing Star Wars: The Phantom Menace in 3D on the big screen right now as, I guess, kind of like getting a blowjob from your ugly girlfriend. We're probably not going to enjoy this, but you kind of feel the need to do it.
Yeah.
I think, yes, watching The Phantom Menace, there we go, on the big screen right now is like accepting a blowjob from either your ugly girlfriend or your girlfriend who's not very good at it. You're probably not going to enjoy it, but you're going to do it anyway. I think you just answered the question for me. Yeah. I'm going to go see it now. Aria's just brought up on the chat board, but I hate 3D. I do. I hate all 3D. I hate it. But unfortunately, I don't think it's playing in anything other than 3D. So I'm going to have to watch it 3D.
Is it going to be the extra 3D price for the tickets, or they're going to do? Are they charging extra for these showings?
I'm sure they are. I mean, it doesn't bother me because I get into all my movies for free.
yeah. I would have to see everything to you. I'm nowhere near. I didn't see any Star Wars until I was probably in my 20s. Like I saw the Ewok movies when I was little, and I liked them. And then I was like, oh, okay, they're attached to these other films. Yeah. I saw it in order, probably. One Phantom Menace or whatever the first one is, and then the next ones. The last three are obviously better, but. Yeah, I have to cede the floor to you and the Star Wars fans.
And JCSC brings up something on the chat board, which brings up a sad truth about me. He says, "God, John, you hate Phantom Menace. You say it's shit. You hate 3D, and yet you're going to see this." Mm-hmm. I'm going to bring up a close-up of me here.
Uh-oh.
Okay, look into my eyes. All right.
Okay.
I have an abusive... codependent relationship with anything Star Wars. I admit it.
Yeah, that's what...
it's like I'm in this abusive relationship with George Lucas, who just abuses me, and like for some reason I keep coming back. I shouldn't. Look, I'm going to admit, I shouldn't. This is an intimate moment here, guys. I should not be going to watch The Phantom Menace this weekend. I shouldn't, because I don't like the movie. I think it started a destructive path that ultimately destroyed the Star Wars universe for me. And it's in 3D, the most useless, terrible, awful gimmick ever in the history of film. And yet, being the little bitch that I am probably going to put my tail between my legs, and I'll probably end up going to go see it anyway. It's sad. It's sad, Matt.
I bet.
I'm not much of a man.
I pity you for the hold it's got on you. That's too bad.
I am not much of a man. So anyway, listen, guys, we got just a couple minutes for questions. Just throw up any questions you got in the chat board really quick. We've only got about 3 or 4 minutes here. So, Matt, do you see anything in the chat board worth addressing here?
Yeah, someone earlier asked you what the greatest superhero movie was, in your opinion.
I think the best superhero movie of all time is still X-Men 2. Followed very closely by Spider-Man 2. I think those two are just so good, and then followed very, very, very closely by The Dark Knight. But I'd still say X-Men 2, Spider-Man 2, Dark Knight. Those 3 comic book movies are kind of in the upper echelon, and then you got films like Thor and stuff like that, which I loved. But I would still say X-Men 2 is the best comic book movie of all time.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know. Probably me, The Dark Knight.
Right.
But another question: have you seen The People versus George Lucas?
Yeah, I did. Very creative, very skewed, but I found myself thinking it was a little too harsh in some ways, but agreeing with it in many ways. So yeah, I've seen there are about 5 or 6 fan-made documentaries like that. of just people hating on Star Wars and the prequels. And some of them are very good, some of them aren't very good, but that's one of the better ones.
Then another question was, did you see the Clint Eastwood commercial?
Yeah, loved it. I thought he was about to announce that he was running for president. It sounded like he was.
I didn't hear it. I was in a house with screaming kids, so I couldn't see. I couldn't hear, but I saw it.
Yeah, it sounded like he was about to run for president. Man, he could. Clint Eastwood is like Optimus Prime to me. He could walk up and tell me to do the most ridiculous thing, but if he does it in his voice, I'll probably do it. It doesn't matter. Like Clint Eastwood would come up and say, "John, shove this banana up your ass," and I'd say, "Yes, Clint Eastwood. Whatever you say, Clint Eastwood," and I would probably do it.
Feeling threatened or whatever.
There's something so commanding about his voice.
Oh, okay.
He's just got such a commanding presence, you know? I just do whatever he says.
We got another one. What do you think's gonna happen to them Harry Potter kids, career-wise? The other ones, Emma Watson and Ronnie the Bear. I don't know what his real name is.
I think Emma Watson is going to have a successful career. I really do. The guy who played Ron, Rupert Gint, I think is his name.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I saw a little independent film with him in it like a year and a half ago, and he was stellar in it. This kid can act. I think he might be the best actor out of the three. And that's saying something, because I do think Daniel Radcliffe is legit. And I think Emma Watson is more than legit. This Rupert Gint guy, he can really act. Yeah. Keep your eye on him. We'll see. It might take a year or two for studios to want to put a little bit more distance between Harry Potter and present day, but they'll give him a shot, and he's going to be awesome.
Yeah. We got another question. Are you going to do a top 10 list of 2011 before the Oscars comes out?
Yeah, just before the Oscars. I'm going to be putting up my top 10 list probably the day before the Razzies, which is the Razzies are the day before the Oscars. So probably on the 24th. I'm probably going to put up my top 10 of 2011 on the 24th. But everybody already knows. Right. Everybody already knows what I think is the best film of the year, which was The Help. I think The Help was by far the best film of the year, but I'll put up my top 10 just before the Oscars.
Okay. And then the last one we got was, have you seen the Take This Waltz trailer?
I have not.
I haven't either. Sorry, buddy. I haven't either. I know the movie. I know Sarah Silverman's in it and Seth Rogen, and I know that, but I don't know much about that one.
Wait, Mr. Picture saying, the Razzies are in April. Somebody, I mean, look this up. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the Razzies are always traditionally the day before the Oscars. Traditionally, the Razzies are always the day before the Oscars. Darren J. Seeley is saying that the Razzies are actually going to be on April 1st this year. If that's true, and they're not following the tradition of doing it the day before the Oscars, I think that's a really bad move. I think that's a terrible move.
Bad move for the Razzies.
I love the Razzies, man. I love the Razzies. It's a terrible move.
Sully the tradition of the Razzies. Yeah, I don't know. I'm on the Razzie site right now. I don't see a date.
Okay, let's take two more. Two more, and then we'll call it a day.
Two more?
Yeah.
Let's see then.
Yeah, really unfortunate that they've moved it to April. They should absolutely keep it the day before the Oscars. I don't know why they're doing that. That's so
Are you
sad.
anticipating any Sundance films? Yeah, I don't know. I didn't even know when they were holding it before. I just know it comes out, and then it's always like Sandra Bullock wins and Halle Berry wins, and then they go accept it, and they get a bunch of cred for that.
Yeah, I mean, it was so funny when Halle Berry won the Razzie for Worst Actress with Catwoman. The year after, she won the Oscar for Best Actress for another film, and Halle Berry was such a good sport with it.
Yeah.
She went and accepted the award in person, and she thanked her. I remember her acceptance speech, man. She's like thanking her agent for bringing her the script, and she just played it up. I mean, I was already a Halle Berry fan. I became an even bigger Halle Berry fan after that. Am I looking forward to any Sundance films? I'll be honest with you. My movie blogging career, although I'm a big fan of a number of independent films, and I love keeping my eye out for good independent films, but 99% of independent films suck shit. And they do. They do. I mean, 97% of all movies suck. 99% of independent films suck. But which means you get 1% of these great, awesome, well-made, passionate indie films. With Sundance, the problem with Sundance is, especially with my job, like I work for AMC Theaters, I mainly talk about wide release films. That is what my niche has always been. I mean, I've got my friend Todd Brown runs a Twitch film. His niche is small, independent, and foreign film. I've got another friend who runs just runs blogs about documentary films. My niche has always been wide release films. And with Sundance, 9 out of 10 films there won't get a wide release, and most people won't get a chance to see them. So why would I don't spend a lot of time talking about films that most of you aren't going to have a chance to see. So why would I bother wasting my time talking about it? So that's just kind of been my angle on it. And so, no.
Yeah, so I'll take that.
Yeah,
No.
so I didn't go to Sundance. I had the opportunity to go to Sundance this year, but it was just like, you know what? This is probably a waste of time for me. I understand why it's a big deal. I understand why my peers go to it, and it's beneficial for them. It's awesome. But it just was a waste of time for me because of what I do. So I got to say, no, not really looking forward to any of the Sundance films.
Boom. All right. And then we got the last question we got is Judge Dredd pictures?
Didn't see them yet. I mean, they got emailed to me, and I saw that they were there, but I didn't bother looking at them. Look, I'm curious about Judge Dredd if for no other reason that it's Carl Urban, and I love Carl Urban. So I'm curious about the film, but I'm not gonna lie to you. It's not like I'm jumping up and down and going, "Oh, new Judge Dredd pictures!" Click, 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 click. That's it's just not where I'm at right now with Judge Dredd.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna see it. I'm kind of looking forward to it because it's Carl Urban. But that's about it. Hey guys, we are going to. I'll address this one. Anna BR asks, I know you hate 3D, but do you have one that you did see and loved it? Yeah, there are a number of movies that I saw in 3D that I loved, but I didn't love them because of the 3D. I loved them despite the 3D. A great example of that would be Thor. The first time I saw Thor, Paramount invited me down to the Paramount lot. Me and a few people watched it there in 3D, and I loved Thor. But I loved it a lot more when I could watch it not in 3D. The first time I saw Up, the Pixar masterpiece, it was in 3D, and I loved Up. But when I got to actually see it without those stupid glasses on my face, desaturating the color and making the image so dark, I loved it even more. So yes, there are films I've seen in 3D that I've loved, but it's never been because of the 3D. The closest thing was Avatar. I watched Avatar for the first time in 3D, and I'm like, hey, maybe this is the first film that I think I'm actually going to like more because of the 3D. But then not long later, I watched it again, not in 3D, and I didn't like it 1 ounce less. So there was another example of the fact that I didn't love it because
you're
of
not
the
going to
3D.
like it, John. I'm looking at these Judge Dredd pictures. He's got Eli Manning's helmet on. You're not going to
It actually says New York Giants on the side. It's awesome.
Yeah, you're not going to be into it.
All right, listen, guys. Once again, let me remind you of this. Subscribe to our show, to our audio-only vision. Just take the link that I've got there where it says subscribe audio. fyc.blip.tv/RSS/MP3. Use that link in any podcast subscription program, including iTunes. It's just that in iTunes, you got to go into podcasts and advanced, subscribe to podcasts, and paste that in. It's a little bit more tricky with iTunes, but it's easy enough, I promise. Yeah. But with anything else, just use that link. You can subscribe to our audio-only version. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel where you can watch these videos, including all my other videos that I do, including movie reviews and editorials. You can do that at youtube.com/movieblogtv. Do not forget, folks, like our Facebook page, facebook.com/FYC podcast. Do that right now. Do it. Go to our Facebook page. Click the like button so you can be updated on everything that we're doing. Once again, I want to thank my good friend Matt for joining me today. Matt, thanks for being here.
No problem, buddy.
Thank you guys for joining us. And turn off that last ad. Thank you guys for joining us so much. And please don't forget, join us every day at 10 a.m. Weekdays, Pacific Standard Time here, but help spread the word about this. Embed this on your Facebook page. Tell people about the show. Follow the show. All that types of wonderful stuff. Thank you so much for joining us. And don't forget to email me. Please email me. My email address is campea@gmail.com. You can email me your thoughts, your ideas, your suggestions. Tell me what you're thinking of the show so far. Should we stop doing it? Should we keep doing it? What things do you like about it? What things do you think we can improve? I'd love to hear your thoughts. So again, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget to come back again. And until next time, bye-bye.